Hi, everyone. Let's talk about what mediumship really is and all of the aspects that may come along with it. Mediumship, at its purest form, is connecting with the spirit world, plain and simple. Let's not overcomplicate the definition of what mediumship is. Now, connecting with the spirit world means connecting with your guides, your own loved ones, other people's loved ones. And we all have the absolute capacity to do so. And this includes also connecting with your guides. So again, we all have the capacity to do so. As my guides like to say, it is our very right to connect with people in the spirit world. After all, it is our home. It's where we return to after we transition. Now, many people want to make these connections with their loved ones, but don't think they can. Well, let's break it down a little bit for you, okay? First and foremost, you're using the same senses you already use, just in a more enhanced, developed, or sensitive form, if you think about it. So, when connecting with people in the spirit world, when we say seeing, clairvoyance, but that's going to come in the mind's eye, and it comes very quickly, very quickly. Flash of a picture, right? Quick memory. So it'll be very quick. Sometimes we hear. Now, there's two aspects to hearing, and that's called clairaudience, but there's two aspects to hearing. Sometimes we can actually hear our name being called out loud. You think somebody is speaking only to find out nobody else in the house is speaking, right? So you're hearing that with your physical ears. And I'm really curious to how many of you does that happen to? Okay, because it's not quite as common, but it does happen. That's called objective clairaudience. So that's outside. And most commonly, clairaudience is coming in your mind. So it's going to sound like your voice. It's going to sound just like your voice. So a lot of times we think, oh, well, I must just be remembering that, or I'm just remembering something they would say. But pause for a moment. How did that just disrupt your train of thinking? Communication from the spirit world comes very, very quickly and very efficiently. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That there just isn't. It just, you may get a word, you may get a name, right, of your loved one. You may hear the ringing of the phone. You may hear a dog bark, or a cat's meow, or a bird's chirp, right? Our animal companions visit us too. So, but how you can differentiate is in how fast it comes, because how can you think that fast? And I'm not talking down to anybody who's highly intelligent, because a lot of people can think very quickly, right? But it's almost like it disrupts your thought process, or you're getting an answer to something you've been thinking about for some days. Or words come in that you do not use in your everyday vocabulary, but words that maybe your loved ones use. I get that in medium readings all of the time. It's especially great when they're antiquated words that are just so far out of my vocabulary, because I'm speaking to a grandmother, who lived in a different area or a different country, and they use a word that I never use. So pay attention. How could that be so quick? oh, one of my loved ones is trying to connect with me, right? And just like I spoke about objective clairaudience, which is the hearing, there is objective clairvoyance as well. It's like sometimes you hear about it like called apparitions on television, but you actually see the person. That is much more rare. Much more rare. So, but it can happen. All right. So I just want to cover these fundamental bases. All right. Sometimes you just know something. You can't even backtrack to how you know what you know. You just know. That is the most common phrasing is, I just know. I just know. And what happens is when somebody in the spirit world is communicating with the knowing, which is referred to as claircognizance, right? Clear knowing. When you just know, all of a sudden, you also may get a visual of like a name. So the knowing feeling comes first, and then they use one of your different senses to help clarify what you're knowing. And lastly, but I feel most importantly, is feeling, which is called clairsentience. I feel that is, and a lot of mediums will feel that is the most important sense to start with, because through feeling, you can feel the presence of your loved one, you can feel their personalities or other people's loved ones if you're, working in that avenue as well. You get the essence of their personality, their build. Your whole body may feel like it wants to change. You take on mannerisms of the person's loved one, or all of a sudden find yourself moving in a way that your own loved one did, right? So starting out with feeling. What I'm getting at here is I want you to know that you have that ability to connect with your own loved ones in the spirit world. It then becomes a choice or a readiness to want to connect with other people's loved ones as well. But here's a few tips right now. Set an appointment time with your loved one. Just set a time and say, I'm available, and focus primarily on feeling. Any single sensation. You may have to do this 3 times, 5 times, 10 times before something happens that you're aware of. Because trust me, when you invite them, they'll be there. But sometimes it takes us a while to heighten our natural senses. It takes us a while. So it's practice over practice over practice, right? Just like perfecting a golf swing or a swimming stroke, anything, painting a new way of painting, musical instruments, right? It's practice. And that is how your mediumship will unfold, is through practice. But you can do this practice with just you and your loved ones. You don't have to do it with anybody else. We encourage it because we learn from one another. But if you don't have that ability or availability or the means or the access to do things like that, you can practice at home yourself. Sit in a quiet place, no distractions, phone off, things like this. And invite them to come and start with any sensation that you get. Again, it may take practice, but start with any single sensation that you get. From there, you may find, oh, I just got an image. Oh, wait, a word just dropped in. See, mediumship is a puzzle being put together to tell the story. That is what is occurring here. And what you see with professional mediums or even people have been practicing for years without the intention of being professional. The reason it comes across so fast is we just have a lot more practice than you. Plain and simple. I've been putting together puzzle pieces now from the spirit world for over 15 years, but it didn't start that way. It did not start that smooth. It started right where you are right now. Yeah, maybe I have heightened natural ability. Okay. But I still had to practice and work at it and continue to do so. So don't give up. Remember, your loved ones want to hear from you as much as you want to connect with them. Bridging that gap at any time allows you to also bridge that gap with your guides. Bridge that gap with maybe your friend's loved one. Be curious. Be open-minded. Be a child again. And let that creativity and that curiosity take hold. And try to drop the limits and try as hard as you can to drop the doubt that comes in, because we all have the trust and doubt issue. So try to drop that and say, why can I not do it? If my loved one wants to connect with me as much as I want to connect with them, let me explore this avenue. And as you're doing so, you're working with your soul, the essence of who you are. And that is going to help lock it in. So I hope you found this video helpful. Happy practicing, you all, because that's what it takes. But once one aspect starts to click, and all the aspects starts to click together, and once all of those start to click together, there's no stopping you now. Nothing will stop you. So go and be curious and have an absolute good time, just without expectation, but the why not, and let's see if I can do any of this at all. Or let me see what I can do, because I don't know. I haven't been trying. Keep it open-minded. Have fun with it. Take in any kind of enjoyment, any aspect that you get. Practice, practice, practice. Thanks for listening. I hope you found it helpful. And if you have any comments or experiences you'd like to share, put it down in the comments below. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourselves in the meantime.